It's the Soul Fantasy Show. Soul Fantasy Show. Hey, it's the Soul Fantasy Show live for April 10th, 2020. We're going to go over the top picks, plays, studs, and, whoever is awesome as shit in NBA simulated action. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to go over, who's going to hit their highest projection, the pretty much the pace we can go over. We can go over simulated scores, and we'll actually have full lineup approximations that you'll be able to just plug in if you don't feel like watching, or just fast forward through the video. Look at lineups. You don't want to do the research, or you could go through the video and do a little bit of research and see some of these, approximations, simulated scores. So on top, we have a 6-game slate for Fanduel. And as usual, for DraftKings, we have a 1-game slate. Please subscribe to this channel. I greatly appreciate it. It will help grow the group. We have a nice little 150-person group. We get glorious, amazing comments from amazing people that are really compassionate about DFS, great members that I really enjoy talking to on a daily basis. All right, so Daniel Dice, 28% to get 40. All right, he has a 5.3% chance to hit his approximation. Cody Zeller. All right. The pace, they're playing Charlotte, Washington. Pace is 198. He could get a 22, 19, 38, 35. He could even get a 55. So for 4-5, if he gets a 55, 100% chance to get 5.3 times value. A good value play. 1.6 fantasy points per minute. Now we have Derek White, who is also good for value. He has a 56% chance to hit 5 times value, and most likely will hit 5.3 times value. Projected 22.63 fantasy points. Now I'll show you a couple more simulated scores for the top guys. Now as we get a little bit lower, we'll go over some of this. So all right, so Houston obviously has the total pace is high. It's 205.9. So the Houston-Washington game is a very fast-paced game. He has a good chance to hit a 38, 36, 33, 27. He's going to pretty much do well. He has a 47% chance to hit 5 times value, and his opponent rank is 27. He gets about 0.64 fantasy points per minute. He will at least get 20 fantasy points, if not more, for only 4-1. All right, here we got Grant, Harris, Zubiak. Now we have a little more pricier man. His name is DeRozan. He is the sole stud of the day. 54, 45, 41, 37, 39. Very good chance for him. Aldred, very good chance for him. So let's go over our stud of the day. 66% chance to hit 5 times value. 1.14 fantasy points per minute. Damn near 200 pace. San Antonio, Philadelphia. There you go. So we also got Murray, Gordon. They're pretty good people to play. And now as we go down, we have Harden. He could get you a 64, 63, a 58, a 78. You never know what he's going to do. He said a very high, fast-paced game. So you're going to play a lot of Houston, Washington guys. If you don't see them here, they will wind up in the lineup optimizer, and you will see that there. All right, well, Kawhi Leonard, he is 9'6". He has a 51% chance at 5 times value, and he gets about 1.5 fantasy points per minute. That's pretty good. His opponent rank is 26. All right. So here are more guys you can possibly plug in. All right. It's really hard to go over every guy. There's so many guys. Like, here's LeBron. He's usually one of my top players that I like to target, but he's only 83. He has a 44% chance at 5 times value. So for 11K, he's a little expensive today. So I would just, these guys they're expensive, so you don't have to just throw them in just because they're a stud. I would rather stack up with guys like, 7K range, Paul George, maybe Siakam, maybe like not necessarily these cheaper guys, but Jovic, the Joker is at 80, 46% chance to hit 5 times value. He'll go under his 5 times value today. So you have to be aware of that. Now, we also have Lillard, who is a stud and who has a big chance to get 60-plus fantasy points. He is a baby stud of the day just because his value is only 4.6. 76, 43% chance to hit his value, but he's getting 1.29 fantasy points per minute. And that's it for that. Let's go over the DraftKings players, and then we'll get your lineups. So DraftKings is a little easier. We have Karl Anthony Towns on top. It's Sacramento versus Minnesota. So here is him. Okay, he is a 3% chance at 5 times value. Wow. The value is 3. This is a little off, but he's going to do all right. But for 11.4, man, he's expensive. 11.4. He's getting 1 point. He has been getting 1.55 fantasy points per minute. He's going to get you at least 50 fantasy points. So if you want to spend 11.4 on him, go ahead. He's a top stud today on DraftKings. D'Angelo Russell is another good stud value. Projected 4 times value. All right. Fox, 4 times value. So here we go. Now here's a very good value. Projected value for Rashard Holmes, 5.7 times value. So for 5.2, he's going to get much more than 30 fantasy points. So he's a very good DraftKings play. He's going to get 45, I'm telling you. Rashard Holmes is the sole sleeper of the day on DraftKings. Now you have James Johnson. He's only $1,800 on DraftKings. He can get a 44, a 30, a 29, a 28, a 21, a 30, a 32, a 15. Or he get 1. But his projected value today is 11 times. So I have to erase that. The sole sleeper of the day, James Johnson. He will, for 1,800, he's going to get you at least 20 fantasy points. He's not going to get that 1. He's not. He's going to get it. Naz Reid. He might get 18. He could get a 1 too. But his value is 9.4. Those are the guys that have very high value. James Johnson and Naz Reid. So there we go. There's some other cheap guys down there. So let's just go over your lineups for you. I hope this was a little helpful. We're going to start going more into detail of projection value. We're going to go over price, value, captain, obviously MVP, captain spot, whatever. We're going to go over very inexpensive guys. Like, where do we find our 1K? Johnson, James. There he is. Boom. Let me target him today and see what kind of amazing lineups get generated. I'm playing James Johnson. Wow, they put him right in the MVP spot. Jeez. Imagine putting him in the MVP spot. He gets 30 points, and it's only 2,700. And you can put Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell. You can put Fox, Rashard Holmes, which we were targeting here. Remember, we said that. So we're playing James Johnson and Holmes. It's going to be a good play of the day. So here's some more lineups with them. You don't have to necessarily put them in the MVP spot, which this keeps doing. But, let's target him and see if we can get him in that MVP spot. There we go. So maybe you could do this. So just see how I did that, just so I could get you another look at where you could put a stud in the MVP spot, still spend $1,800 on James Johnson, and spend down on Rashard Holmes, get that incredible 11 times value and 9.5 times value, whatever we've seen. Well, you could look over that value that you see in there. That incredibly high value that we just discovered is the point of watching these videos. We'll start discovering stuff like that. So, like I've been saying, use quantum physics, basically. Use the smallest thing you can find to generate a big reaction. Like James Johnson, he is who I would definitely load up on DraftKings. And, I mean, if you lose, it happens. You lose sometimes. He might fuck up. He might score 1 like we thought, but he might get 30 fantasy points for only 1,800. So on to Fanduel. Here are some nice lineups for Fanduel. We went over that in great detail. We did not find any very low sleepers. Very, I don't know what you want to call them. Very low price guys. Punt plays, whatever you want to call it. They're punt plays, but they're good punts and they're good. They're value plays, really. The value players. James Johnson is a good value player, but this is FanDuel, so I mean, there's so many different guys playing, so they're not in this, James Johnson and them. But we said we like Aldridge, we like, who else we like? We said we liked Kawhi Leonard. We liked Paul George. So let's just bullet them right here. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And get you a couple let's see if my main man comes in. Where the hell is he? There he is, DeRozan. Now, DeRozan is my player for FanDuel today. So let's just see what happens with these guys together. There we go. Here's some lineups with my studs of the day. My main studs with some values in there for FanDuel. It's the Soul Fantasy Show. Soul Fan Show.